Weekend Hillbilly here. Just give you a real quick walk around of the skid steer and putting on a backup camera. Not a lot going on this weekend. I've done a little bit of grass mowing and weed eating, and thought, that's not very fun for you guys to see. So maybe I'll just kind of do a really quick walkthrough of this. So yeah, there's a creek bank. I done a little bit of weed eating on the creek bank, or weed eated at it, and didn't really do a great job, but knocked enough down. So anyways, back to our skid steer here. So what we did is used a step drill. Come in here to mount the camera, used a step drill and drilled the larger hole for the coaxial connection, a 4-pin connector to go through, and then I used a smaller drill bit for self-tapping screws, drilled a pilot hole for them. So I've mounted the camera here, protector screen there on the plexiglass roof. And here we'll just kind of tip up the cab. If you've never tipped up the cab on one of these, it's really easy. There are 2 studs on each side of the cab, and you just take the nut off, and it tilts up really easy. So in the cab, how we ended up, so I mounted the camera on the back, on the door, and then what I done is I used a broom handle. I taped the coaxial cable to the broom handle and used that to push it up through the center, up through the underneath of the cab there by the motor, and then up into the cab. I used a broom handle, that way it wasn't really conductive, because you go kind of right in above the battery there, and I just didn't want anything arcing on the battery. So I got the camera mounted here on the back. I used self-tapping screws that I had in the barn. Ended up having to remove the little beeper there, and the backup beeper, so I could get at it and mount that. And then what I did is I zip tied the coaxial cable to the existing harness there for the brake lights or for the tail lights, and then zip tied it to it and routed it up through the center of the cab and into the cab, or into the cockpit, I guess, so to speak, and up through a little hole. There's a little hole there that you can get to, and routed it up into there. As far as the power, on the post on the right hand side, sitting in the seat, there's the throttle for the machine, so you can use the throttle there. There's also the ignition switch is a little bit higher, so there's actually about a 12 or a 6-pin or 12-pin connector plug there. I took a couple screws out of the plastic panel there, kind of in the corner, and was able to find a 12-volt source there that's a keyed ignition 12-volt source. So as soon as you turn the key on, the power comes on to the camera. And so I used that power. I used the ground there close, and then I routed the power and the ground over to the connector, and zip tied it off to the cab. So that's really about it. And sorry there's not much more this weekend, but hey, if you like what you see, like and subscribe. We'd love to have you along, and probably going to have more and better content soon to come.